Hello, everybody. It's lovely to see you. And today is my first day with reading and chatting with author S.A. Crow. Hi, Cool Gamer. Hi, Angel Faye. It's good to see you. So this is new for me. So be a little kind. For those new or watching the replay, I'm going to read from my first book, Into the Fire, which you can pick up. Good morning, Tony. And then we will do some chatting and see what's going on with me and all the funness that's going on. Hello, darling. But my first question to you is, hi, Tony, is what should we name this? Because right now I have it reading and chatting with S.A. Crow. But if you can come up with a fun name for what these are called, like Tea with S.A. Crow or Tea and Books or something. So Jen says Mexi time with S.A. Crow. So you can be thinking about that while I start to read the first chapter of Into the Fire. Into the Fire, Book 1 of the Fire series. Dedication for Grandma Shirley, my first and best role model. You taught me that nothing is outside of the bounds of possibility. Chapter 1, Raven. The warm interior beckoned me inside. There was something comforting about a 24-hour breakfast diner at 2 a.m. after sweating a 14-hour shift in a hot restaurant kitchen. Shaking the rain out of my hair, I smile at the hostess and motion to her someone is waiting for me. Mallory, my best friend, claimed a blue booth in the corner. Her bouncy blonde curls dance as she waves me over. We met at yoga class. Mallory and I joined not long after I moved to Seattle from San Diego, where I went to culinary school. She was wearing a UCLA shirt, and I had on a Newport Beach shirt. We both pointed at the shirts in the silent "you're from there" way, and we clicked immediately. Mallory got her design degree from UCLA and moved to Seattle to do industrial design for all the .coms in the area. I made a similar move out of culinary school. Seattle was one of the West Coast's big food cities, attracting new chefs from all over the country. We often meet up late when I finally get off work. Today she's already sipping her hot chocolate. The smell of powdered sugar, syrup, and serving breakfast meats fills my nose as I breathe in the sigh of relief. Mallory and I share a hug, and I climb into the booth, already knowing my order. The waitress jots it down while I scoot and rest my tired legs and feet on the bench seat. Why do you keep torturing yourself at that job? She pauses before sipping her hot chocolate. Because it's what I went to school for, right? My tone mocking. It's true. I've been wondering if my career choices are right for me for a while now. There are other things you can do with your degree, and they would be a hell of a lot more rewarding than slaving for that man. I've been thinking about that too, I admit. I could try my hand at being a personal chef. There are quite a few well-off people in the city that might find the idea of a chef appealing. That's a thought. Go for it. What's the worst that can happen? Having her this enthusiastic about the idea causes hope to grow. I'm doing some research on it, I confess. Good. The conversation drifts to her recent date, a new recipe I'm working on, and some contracts she's working on till well after 3 in the morning. Putting on a fresh pair of jeans and tank top, I thank my lucky stars I'm on dinner service tonight and don't have to work until 5 this evening. I start some water boiling for my first cup of tea. I switched from tea to coffee while I was in college for my health. While the water heats up, I feed my beta, Lord Byron. With my work hours, any normal pet would be lonely. It would be cruel to leave him there alone in my tiny apartment all the time. When Mallory got me Lord Byron for my birthday as a joke, I fell in love with his purple dandy self. Opening my laptop, I sip my tea, researching ways to market myself as a personal chef, jotting down ideas and notes before my alarm sounds. Seattle has a great mass transit system compared to other cities. It's easy to get around without owning a car. I wouldn't want to drive in the city notoriously bad traffic anyway. I push onto the bus with the usual Tuesday crowd and head for downtown, listening to my current audiobook. Frodo Baggins leaves the Shire as I step off the bus to walk a few extra blocks to Hotel Kempton. The chilly mist gathers as dew in my hair. I shiver as flecks of water fall from my loose bun to trickle down the back of my neck. I wish I could keep walking in the mist today instead of work waits. Kismet happens to be one of the most popular restaurants in Seattle. Featured in many top 10 lists of farm-to-table restaurants, Hotel Kempton made a deal with the top chef Andre for him to build his first restaurant, Kismet, in their hotel, and made a deal with the Kismet in their hotel, and their appeal grew exponentially when the restaurant was awarded 3 Michelin stars. A lot of people dislike their jobs or their bosses. It isn't that Kismet is a bad restaurant to work for my personality. I love cooking. I love watching people glow with pleasure when they take that first bite. That's why I became a chef. But how am I supposed to know if the customers love it if I never see their faces? I have no personal connection with the people eating my food. Well, you have asses in the seat. That's all the feedback you need. This according to Andre himself when I asked that exact question a few weeks ago. As long as people are eating my food and the tables are full in my restaurant, that's all the feedback I need, Raven, Chef Andre added, making sure I understood he was the name people were there coming to see, not some no-name chef on his line. I either need to accept this and work my ass off, or I need to make a serious change as soon as possible. The swooshing sounds of water and soap being pushed and splashed meet my ears as I slip in through the back door. The smell of clean steel wafts over my palate, and for a moment I'm back in culinary school. I never knew clean steel had a smell before those classes. That smell once brought a sense of joy. Now it's a backdrop to the start of my long days of anonymity. I'm a piece in the machinery that allows Chef Andre to be top dog in a system meant to make the head chef shine and no one else. After a quick glance around, I see one of the newest members of the crew struggling to reassemble a fryer. Do you need a hand? Often the newer chefs get the shit jobs in a form of hazing. Her eyes plead for help as another piece of equipment crashes onto the floor. Heads turn in her direction, accompanied by a few snickers. I head over, showing her the best methods of assembling the fryer, and give her a few tips about the machine. I know my desire to help comes from a desperate need to believe I haven't chosen wrong, that I'm not broken by the boys' club system. Thank you, Raven. She smiles up at me while juggling the door to the grease trap nozzle. She appears nervous and skittish, and it's clear Chef has screamed at her today. The rest of the day is typical, preparing for meals for the day. We gather around white tubs cutting vegetables. It's a competitive job, and seems everything is done with that testosterone edge. Often I find myself jostled by a neighbor. Sometimes I hear a huff from them if they think I'm moving too slow, trying to help the people who appear to be struggling with a technique. This continues until the daily meeting with Chef Andre talking over the night's menu around in Kismet's dining room. The warm glow of the pinewood walls and champagne-colored curtains made Kismet feel inviting and contrasts nicely with white tablecloths. Chef sits with us at the round table nearest the kitchen. The main feature of the menu tonight is an underused fish, yellow-eye rockfish. Chef is introducing Seattle's restaurant scene to sustainable local seafood instead of predictable salmon and crab. Everyone's doing the same fish. He sweeps his long bangs out of his eyes. I notice one of the hotel's managers walks toward our table. Someone's usually down once or twice a month from management with a job the Kismet staff must handle. As she gets closer, the chef realizes our attention has drifted to something behind him. He sighs, turning around, spotting the approaching manager. Shit, what now? Can't they understand I'm busy, he grumbles. Long manicured nails tap restlessly against her tablet, speaking into her Bluetooth with a tone of as no nonsense as her starched pressed suit. The suit is a crisp dark blue custom tailored job that marks her as one among all our white coats. Finishing her call, she bends down to whisper into Chef's ear. Then she springs back to her upright posture as though she's afraid he might bite her. If this visit might be tied to the conversation Chef has been bitching about since he learned it was coming. The hotel has a private job, Raven. Handle it. They'll give you the details, he explains as if to a child, condescending smile lighting his face. We stopped being even cordial with each other after an incident in the kitchen earlier this year. I'd made a dish for the staff lunch. When everyone raved about it, Chef wanted the recipe. I flat out refused to give it to him, knowing if I did, he would feature it on his menu as his dish. Not uncommon, but I was going to make him work for it. He spent the next month deconstructing the dish, coming up with something similar but not my exact dish, and he's been angry at me ever since. I'd be happy to volunteer. Smiling, I smooth over the aggression in the room. Chef, you handed me a chance at something new and different. Who knew where this one job could lead me? We'll miss you in the kitchen, Chef simpers. I know the only thing he would miss is the fact that I'm almost willing to do anything asked of me. I was getting desperate to find some kind of purpose in a kitchen again, and it was starting to show big time. Well, that's settled. Please come into the hotel lobby and have them page a manager so you can fill out some forms and we can get a list of what you will need for the weekend. She sings out and heads back out. I scoot between the chairs and head out of the dining room, through the hotel hallways, to the hotel lobby, and up to the concierge desk. I inform them I'm the chef from Kismet that will be handling the convention job. They make a call, and in a few minutes, I'm sitting in the back office of one of the managers. Raven, I'm so glad you'll be helping us out with this project, the manager says in way of greeting. He's a short, weedy man, imperfectly manicured. The convention is a fandom event for crime procedural shows. They'll be using the hotel for 3 days, Friday, April 7th, through that Sunday. He rounds his desk, looking down at the flat calendar that takes up the majority of its surface. The convention has asked for a special space for their stars to eat and rest away from the fans, a green room. We have blocked off one of the major suites on the 15th floor. We'll be removing most of the original furniture in the bedrooms, adding dining tables to one and storage racks to the other. He uses his hands to mimic the actions of removing items. I love when people use their hands when they talk. The kitchen will be large enough to accommodate 2 people, so you can have a sous chef of your choice. If you could get us the menu and items you need to stock the kitchen and food by tomorrow, that will be helpful. Finishing in a rush, emphasizing the word tomorrow strongly. I nodded and assured him I would have the list for him first thing in the morning. I'm not sure how I got through both meal services. I remember someone putting a plate of food in front of me during the break and saying eat in a soft voice. All I could think about was what I could possibly be doing for the event. Wait, I'd have free reign to create my own dishes. All the recipes in my head began to flood my mind. I never shared any of these recipes with anyone, another living soul. Ingredient stands, along with techniques, all too vivid, and I found myself walking away from the line to write down a note or two. Felt like a chain smoker that had to take a hit, not caring what else was going on around me. I soon caught Chef glaring at me. Raven, if you walk off the line one more time, you can walk out of this kitchen and find another job, Chef yells at me, as I again made a move to leave and make another note. I didn't care what he or anyone else thought. It was the best day I'd had in a while, but I stayed put and contained my excitement, just barely. Even if nothing came of this, I was going to start making myself happy again. I felt a surge of hope and promise, floating home that night on that promise, determined to start working on the menu first thing. AC/DC's Hell's Bells sings out from my phone, the sound causing a chill down my spine as I try to get into my little apartment. Splintering my thoughts, I fumble with my purse, crying out, "Asparagus!" in my haste to get to my phone. My keys fall on the floor as I finally find my phone at the bottom of my purse. I know that ringtone. It's for my mother's number. "Hello, Mom. How are you doing?" I try to imagine what she could possibly want at 3 in the morning. I pick up my keys, put the phone between my ear and shoulder, and then attempt to hold everything and open the door at the same time. I now feel as scattered as the things in my arms. My mother has that power over me, always has. She can ruin a perfectly good day with one phone call. Now that's a superpower. "Hey, honey. What's that noise? I know it's late, but I needed to call you," she whines into the phone. I start to put things down on the table near the door and fumble for paper and a pen while I answer her. "I dropped my keys when you called and was trying to get the door open. I volunteered for a job at the hotel. It's a great opportunity for something different. I'm hoping it might lead to something new for me." I bait her with the prospect, always hoping for a better conversation, hell, even a better relationship with my mother. "Oh dear, don't you work enough? Have you found a boyfriend yet? You know you never will if you keep working all the time. And now you're taking a second job? Speaking of boyfriends, Rob and I want to come out and visit you next month. We will need to stay at your place, honey," she's saying into the phone. Oh dear. I look around at my small apartment. I know my mother will want to sleep in my bed with her new boyfriend, and I'll be sleeping on my couch. Robson is in sales, and he has a big event going on up in your area. I don't remember what, but he said he was going to bring me. I know you wouldn't mind giving up a little space for us," she continues as my mind fills with images of sleeping on the couch and being an unwanted guest in my own home. My mother will complain about how small my apartment is, my choice in decoration, how I so neglected her by being at work. I can already hear the complaining, how I'm such an ungrateful child neglecting her, as she continues to chirp at me, and my head begins to ache. "Mom, what happened to Jack? Weren't you seeing him last time we talked?" I'm not surprised she's moved on from one boyfriend to the next, or he moved on from her. "Oh, Raven, that was ages ago," she squeaks. "Rob is the one, love. I can feel it." She giggles like a little girl. Of course, how could I not realize she found the one again? After all, she's been married 3 times since my father. First was Henry, then Jason, and 2 years ago, Kevin. She was giving the late Elizabeth Taylor a run for her money. Money seems to be the one thing she can't seem to marry. All these men romance her until she bleeds them dry. They then have to get out before they lose everything to a sucking hole of my mother. Some of these men thought she had money. They didn't learn until later she was dating them on someone else's money. When they realized the money was leaving, they hit the road. I know. I should try to sympathize with my mother. I just can't. Darling, you need to try harder to find someone. You could lose some weight, work on looking prettier, and work less. What about that Chef Andre? You could make a go with him. At least you would have something to talk about. Rob and I talk about horses. He loves taking me to the track. And I'm learning so much and meeting all these nice people. Mom, I need to get some rest. It's been a long day. I implore her. Our conversations always leave me drained. Oh, yes, dear, you need your beauty rest after all. I need to go, honey. Rob's waiting for me to let him know our plans for the trip are set. Kisses! I lay the notepad on the desk and give up the search for a pen. Locking the front door, I walk to my bedroom down the hall. Curling up with my body pillow is the only thought in my head at the moment, and that isn't worth writing down. That is chapter 1 of Into the Fire. And I'm going to show a little video of the inspiration for that book. So I hope you all like that. We actually finished faster than I thought we would. So now I look forward to chatting. So has anybody come up with some ideas? Jen came up with Smexy Time with S.A. Crow. I'm thinking tea and books with S.A. Crow, maybe. But we have some other things going on. This week on Thursday, we have our live critique read, and I will be reading from book 3 that's been edited a bit, and so that will be fun. If you would like to come and give some constructive feedback to our readers, that would be awesome. Here is the invitation link to the live critique read. And the next thing we have going on next week is the writing workshop. And if you've ever wanted to make a writer's notebook or just a refresher in it, it's a free workshop. And I offer these workshops free every now and again. And so this one is to help us get started before the big event in November for Nano, which I will be working on book 4. Book 3 is in editing. Book 4 is about to be drafted. So let's see. I'm also part of a giveaway coming up on Facebook this month. It's going to have like over 200 and something authors, so lots of good books and swag. The Facebook group is Isn't It Romantic? And I'm looking forward to giving away some swag. Actually, I'm probably going to make some really snifty swag. One of a kind, never before seen. So I'm really looking forward to that. I hope everybody's having a good Labor Day here in the U.S. I am looking forward to resting for the rest of the day and taking the day off, and then getting started on Tuesday. So what do you guys think of chapter 1? What do you think the name should be for these events? Should we continue them? Second, sorry. But yeah, I also have some pen pal letters I need to write this week and try to catch up on a few people. If you heard any battle in the background. The boyfriend was playing PS5. It's been lovely to spend time with all of you all, and I hope to see you next Monday.